Heaven's California.
Overwatch competitive, guys, that is today's topic. Now I do have to watch the time because I don't want to bauble on. I don't want this video to go over 20 minutes purely because my camera will run out. But what is wrong with Overwatch competitive? Well, no one likes it. No one likes playing competitive anymore. People are moaning about it on forums, on YouTube videos, through Reddit, over the forums, wherever. You'll see people saying, I don't like competitive anymore. And me, myself, I've had enough of it. Every day, I'm an Overwatch player, and I don't really... The arcade's fine, but once you've got the 3 loot boxes, there isn't really any reward for it. And quick play's just a mess. You know, if you want to mess around, go and play on quick play. Overwatch competitive is meant for people that come back to the game day after day and want to progress. They want to get better at the game. They're not playing for it. They're not going on with their mates, a couple of mates saying, yeah, let's have a bit of fun, let's mess around. These are people that seriously haven't in there. They are, what's the word? They are invested. They're invested into this game. They're investing their time and sometimes money into loot boxes. They want to get better at the game. They want to progress through the ladder, go up the ladder to them higher ranks. And we can't do that in competitive at the moment for 3 reasons. 1, poor matchmaking. 2, poor teamwork. 3, poor communication. These 3 things that are half Blizzard's fault and half our fault that we are doing that. Now, I am going to keep an eye on the time. I'm going to give myself to 3 o'clock. I've got 12 minutes. Let's start. Poor matchmaking. What is wrong with the matchmaking in Overwatch? Well, a couple of days ago, I lost 6 games in a row. And that doesn't bother me. I don't mind losing. The thing that annoyed me when we lost is then we had, I'd say at least 4 out of the 6 games, we didn't have a team. One of the games, we had 3 animains. Neither one of them, the first one didn't, the second one didn't, the third one didn't. 3 of them, 3 animains, none of them played the Ana, which really concerns me because then we had 4 healer mains on the team. Now, progressively over time, quick 37 backstory, in around March, we paired me and my cousin, who you will see on the channel. We did a podcast a couple of weeks ago on what's happening with the game just before BlizzCon. We grouped up with a girl. She played Mercy, and we grouped up with one of her friends. We were a 4-stack, and then at times we were running a 4 or 5, or maybe even a 6-stack, and then we kind of just dropped from that because it wasn't really working. And we had a Mercy main. We then went to not having a Mercy main, and I kind of just filled that role because it's a role that normally needs to be filled. So I went ahead and filled that role, and now we are Mercy main. So that game, we had 4 healer mains. Now, I know that I can play tank and healer, but the problem is, with matchmaking, you can lose the game before you've even got out the menu. You look at your team and you go, right, we've got 5 DPS players. And then there's myself, who's the Mercy. Now, who is going to take up role and say, you know what, I'm going to play tank? Because for a DPS player to go and play tank, or to go and play healer, or a healer main that's going to have to fill a DPS, or going to have to fill a tank, it's a completely different style of game. And, you know, once you've developed into that main, not necessarily a one trick, but a main, the character that you feel strongest with is the character you're going to want to pick. For me, at the moment, that's a Mercy. When we have another Mercy that pops up, I'm thinking, right, I'm going to have to switch to a secondary, either a main tank, one that's going to, a shield, or something like that. Or sometimes, yesterday, I was even forced to play DPS. I'm not a DPS player. That's my third out of the 3 classes, DPS, tank, and healer, or support, that I'd say DPS is my weakest area. And a lot of people would say, well, DPS is easy. Not for someone who's played tank and healer for this amount of time. It's really hard to go from that and then switch to something else. And I feel that sometimes having the ability to look at people's profiles and what they've played at really does hinder what people are going for. Because you might have someone who's on a secondary account. On their main account, they played a lot of Soldier 76. And they choose Soldier 76. But on this account, they've only just started it, and they've been having to play a lot of tanks or healers. You'd look at them and you go, well, this season you've kind of been playing tank / healer, so why have you gone to a soldier? And I think maybe we should be able to, I don't know, something about the profile, or should we be able to look at other people's full profile or just what they played that season? Because if you've been playing tank for a whole season and then you suddenly want to go and play healer, and then you want to revert back to a tank, that's a bit of a hero change. And, you know, with also the matchmaking, the matchmaking is a little skewed. But that's nothing matchmaking. These 3 videos I could probably make another whole 20-minute video on, but we can only have a bit of time for each topic. So number 2 is poor teamwork. Teamwork, the inability to build a functional team. It is very highly unlikely you're going to win a game when you've got 5 DPS and 1 healer. You need at least 2 healers and a main tank. A main tank being a Winston, a Reinhardt or an Orisa. You can't main tank with a Hog, a D.Va or a Zarya. It's just not going to work. The enemy are going to out-ultimate. They're just going to, whatever they're going to be shooting, apart from 2 seconds that D.Va may or may not have her her defense matrix up, you're going to be just getting pummeled, and people start moaning at each other. And this is when I find people get most salty about losses, when you haven't formed a team. Now, I'm someone who can flex. I can flex from tank to healer. I prefer to play healer, because I know with my healing, I should be able to. Okay, but solo healing doesn't. It worries me when you have a solo heal, because I think when I'm dead, who's going to heal the team? No one. Then people start moaning, where's the heals, where's the heals? Well, I've kind of died, and we need a second healer. Every game for me is a necessity. You need 2 healers, you need a tank. You can't win without 2 healers. It's very unlikely. You're making it really hard if you don't have 2 healers and you don't have a shielding tank. 3 DPS, 1 shooting tank, 2 healers is fine. I'd rather have the 2 tanks just because there's more people at the front to block the damage. But again, that's another conversation for another day. Something that does wind me up is people that can constantly change hero. I had a guy the other day that had probably changed hero in the space of the whole game 6 or 7 times. And I'm afraid you just can't do that. If something isn't working, then sure, go and change. But not 6 or 7 times. You're just wasting so much ult charge, throwing it away. And most of the time, it's not that your character isn't working, it's that you're not grouping up, you're seeing 4 people, and you're going in for an attack. You have to have 6 people to attack. And especially, you can't do this either. When you're playing a game, you're taking the role of a tank. But then you lose the first point, and then you switch from that tank to something completely different because you've had enough of playing a tank. Once you choose that role, you have to fulfill that role. You can't really, unless you said to someone, look, can anyone else play this? Can we try and swap this around? You can't it's just not possible. You can't switch and just completely abandon a whole role for someone else to do. It just doesn't really work. You know, people not grouping up, inability to forming a team is something that Overwatch is really struggling with right now, and I'm not really sure how we can fix it really. And poor communication, people not being in team chat, you know, it's a lot easier to play on PC because people don't get, well, people can play in Discord and stuff. You know, people, if you want to communicate in your team chat. You know, even if you're playing with a couple of friends, tell them to join the team chat because you're playing competitive, you shouldn't be having a laugh, you shouldn't be talking off topic, you're playing competitive, you're here to play the game. You want to go and have a laugh with your mates, go and play on the arcade or quick play. Competitive is called competitive for a reason, it's for the competitive players. And, you know, we've got Overwatch League coming up, and Overwatch League and Overwatch competitors, 2 major Overwatch League competitions. Where are we going to get the next generation of Overwatch players, say in a year or two's time, when teams are looking to recruit again, when pro players now aren't even playing on the ladder? The ladder is so inconsistent, it's like rolling a dice. The odds are definitely not in your favour, and, you know, it's hard to form teams, and pros have said, you know what, we're just going to collectively get 12 of us, we're going to go into scrim, and we're going to play on a custom match, and we're just going to play with each other all night. We're just going to match up 6v6 every night, keep swapping the teams around. Because they know they're going to form a team, they're going to play as a team, and they're going to communicate. 3 teams, 3 things that you need to be able to do to play well and succeed in Overwatch competitive. Communicate with your team, play as a good team player, and what's the last one? Communicate, flex to make a good team, and work as a good team on the battlefield. Them 3 things you need to be able to do, otherwise you're not going to be a good competitive player. And what is the point of playing on the ladder and progressing up to that Grandmaster 500 mark, and then there's nothing for you there. What is the point of playing competitive? Now, a lot of people are using competitive for golden guns. There needs to be maybe another way to get golden guns. Maybe just take golden guns out of the game completely. Because just because you have a good golden gun doesn't mean you're a good player. DPS players, another problem with Overwatch. You might get someone who is a high gold, and you might get someone who's only just gone into gold in your team. The high gold will have a couple of good games on DPS, and he will not switch for anyone. He is there, he's going to think he's going to go in, 1v6, win it for the team. You know, the chance of that is about 1 in 100. You're not going to do it. And, you know, you need to form teams. Overwatch is a team game, team objectives. You have to form a team. And if you're one of these players that goes, screw it, I'm locking DPS, I'm not changing for anyone, I don't care, I'm going to play in my own little world, I'm just going to go in, have a go, and die, and then I'm going to moan at the end of the game because we lost. We lost 9 times out of 10, maybe not. I'd say a good 7 or 8 games out of 10. If I was to lose every 10 losses, 7 or 8 of them games would be because we couldn't form a team. Whether that's we've only had the one healer, whether that's we've only got the one tank. I mean, the one tank is fine, but we haven't got a main tank, a Ryan, a Rissa, or a Winston. It really does help having one of them 3, and without them, you're going to find it very, very hard. And, you know, I've seen all sorts in Overwatch. I've seen One Trick. I had a One Trick Diva with me yesterday who didn't play Diva. She put 17 hours into that account on Diva, and the next character was like 40 minutes. She just didn't play the Diva. You know, if you're putting that much time into a player in one season, it's going to be very hard for you to adapt to another type of role within that same season. You know, you know what I'm saying. It does get hard. People can flex, and I do flex, but if everyone can play their main, and maybe someone can say if someone's an Ana main or a Lucio main, but we need a main healer, if that Lucio can move over to an Ana or even a Moira now or a Mercy, it would help things so much. But are we to blame? Are Blizzard to blame? Things do need to change with Overwatch. They've said they're not going to have a role select. Maybe we need more rewards for competitive. Maybe the entry requirements for competitive need to be better. I just don't know. I think half the reason is people just don't know how to play this game. And if you don't know how to play the game, then you're going to find it very, very hard. And playing the game isn't just being mechanically good. You have to be good. You have to know the game. You have to know what teams work, what doesn't, what works and what map, what doesn't, what heroes work together. Can you play a Hog and a Winston together? Maybe not the best idea. You might need a Winston and a Diva would work better than a Hog and a Winston, because the Hog's got no barrier to go behind. So he is just going to get pummeled. And the people will also say, I can't play this hero. Well, maybe if someone else can play that hero, then you do have to do it. You can't play DPS every game, I'm afraid. And I think maybe they're the hero roles. So offense, defense, tank, and healer. Just get rid of all of them. Just have all the heroes in a line, you know, and just let people pick, because, you know, it's just one of them things. You know, it's all DPS. You know, DPS is great. You need DPS in your team, but you can't have 5. It's just not possible. But, you know, we will have some more Overwatch videos coming, and we will break down these topics a little further. But what do you guys think? What is your opinion on competitive? How have you been doing? What would you say needs improving? What would you say is working good? What would you say isn't so good for you at the moment? Well, that's going to be it for this video. If you did enjoy it, remember to drop a like down below. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. Make sure to hit that notification button and share the video. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Goodbye.